This is the biggest thing I've learned that helped me from struggling to thriving doing in-home sales. Self-improvement is the key. It's not that the job is too hard, it's that you're not good enough. The job will never get easier. The only way to make more money is for you to get better. You should be glad it's hard because generally the harder it is, the more money you get paid. Today we're paid by the difficulty of replacing you. If you do something anyone can do, like flip a burger, then you probably won't get paid that much. If you can do something not a lot of people can do, then you will get paid very well. That's why it's not unusual that top people selling home improvements can make a couple $100,000 a year. It's not easy. Doesn't it make sense that for you to make more money, you have to be better, and being better means you know more? The people who get paid more today just know more. The people who sell more home improvements know more about the process than the people who don't. Even if you're successful now, to stop learning would be like saying, I don't want to make any more money than I do now. You can always get better and therefore make more money. The other thing about knowledge is that you have to keep pouring it in because it's almost like there's a hole at the bottom where it keeps falling out. How many times have you heard something and thought, wow, I used to do that, or I forgot all about that? If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. There's no such thing as staying the same in sales. Selling is a learned skill. It's not about being the natural-born salesperson. In a lot of cases, what that means is that you have the gift of gab. Translation, you can BS with the best of them. That's not what sales is about today, and that's not what customers want. Customers today are very smart and naturally wary, and what worked 60 years ago doesn't work today. Yes, it helps if you can talk to and relate to strangers naturally, but if you don't, you can learn how to do it. To earn more, you have to learn more. We're in an information age, which means that in most cases, we're paid on how much we know. It's not like our ancestors in the industrial age, where if they wanted to get paid more, they lifted weights so they could carry more boxes across the factory floor. Today, you work on learning more so you can get paid more. There's only two ways that you can learn and get better. One is through trial and error, in which you try something, and if it doesn't work, you try something else and continue the process until you find out what works. In our business, that can be very costly, and while you're learning, you're not making any money. Also, there are so many components in the in-home sales process, like rapport and connection techniques, determining what their needs and hot buttons are, getting commitments, selling the company product and installation, as well as closing the sale, that it would take a long time to master each section through this process. Not to mention learning all of the product knowledge of what you're selling. The other way to get better is to learn from someone else who already knows how to do it. You can do this by reading, listening to podcasts, talking to other successful salespeople, and going online. This way is a lot better because it's faster, and in a way it allows you to compress time. If I can read a book by an expert who's been doing this for years, I can take what took them 20 years to figure out and get that knowledge in a week. Isaac Newton says, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Learn to use what other people have paid their blood, sweat, and tears to learn instead of you doing it yourself. Now, if two people were equal in skills and genetic makeup, and one person studied every day in their field and the other didn't, who do you think would make more money? I think you know the answer to that one. So why aren't you learning more? No matter how much money you make, you can always make more. It's also easy to do in our line of work because every day we're in the car at least an hour or two driving. You also have downtime between leads. If you just spent 30 minutes a day listening and learning, it's impossible for your income not to go up. 90 days of this and your income will increase a minimum of 10%, and if you're just starting, it could be as much as 30 to 40%. What is that worth to you? Anytime a salesperson asks me for advice on being successful, this is what I tell them to do. I've told this to countless salespeople, and I've had not one person come back and say, Ron, you wasted my time and it didn't work. If you don't get better, nothing will change and your life will go on as it has been. I heard someone say once that except for the books we read and the people we meet, nothing will change. If you're just starting in this business, you really have about 3 to 6 months to figure it out before you starve or quit because the money doesn't justify the BS in hours. One side benefit of self-improvement is that your attitude will stay strong because you're getting better. The best definition of attitude is, it's your vision of the future. While you're learning, you may not be where you want to be yet, but you feel yourself moving in the right direction. That's the key. Not that you're there yet, but that you're moving in the right direction. If you're struggling, you don't see any way it's going to change, it's very frustrating and your attitude will be poor. However, if you aren't making it, but you know you're getting better, moving in the right direction, your attitude will be positive because now it's not a matter of will you do it, but just when. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Your vision of the future is positive. Huge difference in how you feel when you know you're moving in the right direction versus wondering if it will ever change. Now, don't forget that you can learn not only from other people, but also don't leave out taking advantage of the learning by trial and error. That's why it's important that after every sale you miss, that you review it or go over it with someone else. You know what to do if you had the same situation again to be better and make the sale. Never fall into the trap of, well, nobody could have sold that. It's a justification losers make and not for you. I'm very good, but because I couldn't sell them doesn't mean someone else could have. I'm not the greatest salesperson that ever walked the face of this earth, even though I tell myself that constantly to keep my self-esteem high. I feel that everyone can be sold. I just can't sell everyone yet. Get in the habit of learning from the failure. Never waste a no sale by not learning what the mistake was. Sometimes you can figure it out yourself, but if you can't, get some advice from someone else. It's important that from every lead, you're either making commission or paying tuition.